Hello everyone, my name is Kieran. Welcome to the first Manchester United transfer stream of the summer transfer window 2018-19. It's good to be back amongst the rumour mill, and we have a rumour today that has been widely reported in the news media. Daniel James potentially joining Manchester United for a reported fee of either 15 or 10 million pounds. I'm really not sure. Depending on who you read, the fee changes. So we can't be 100% sure on that. But the fee will be in the region of that sum of money. Apparently United are close to agreeing a deal. But again, you don't know, do you? I mean, again, this is just the stories I'm reporting on. Just before we get into it, I want to stress that actually, this is not insider information that I've gained or that I know personally. It's just I'm reporting on the stories that are out there in the media today. So yeah, I mean, you guys already know. Don't take them literally. You know the farcical nature of the British news media at times. But of course, if you guys have got anything to say about this potential signing or anything else to debate on this matter, Patrick, thank you very much for joining. Really appreciate it. As always, please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. We recently hit our target of 620 subscribers, so thank you very much for that. Can we get to 630 subscribers? That is the new target. Please do help us out. Liking, sharing, all that great stuff really does help us out. So thank you very much for that. But yeah, I'm back streaming. Obviously, the last few videos have been, well, videos instead of live streams. And I really do enjoy doing these live streams, interacting with you guys. So hopefully everything holds up and we can have a brilliant stream tonight as we usually do. But yeah, as we go through, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Patrick says, who's Daniel James? Well, I'll tell you what, mate, I don't have too much, kind of more insider knowledge. I'm not going to say that I've scouted him from an early age. I'm not going to lie to you and say that. But of what I've seen of him, he looks a promising talent, but of course, YouTube highlights can be very, very deceptive. The All-Round Podcast has joined us. Welcome, he says. Man United have agreed an 86 million move for Juventus forward Paulo Dybala. He does have some demands. Number 10, free kick taker, and not to be played off the right. I tell you what, if you're right there, mate, that is an amazing scoop, but I'm not sure if that's true or not. And to be honest with you, I don't see us getting Dybala anyway, but we can talk about that a bit later. Yes, it's so sad after this atrociously bad year. Yeah, I know. I mean, I'm afraid this stream, I guess we're going to be talking about a potential transfer, but mostly as well, talking about Manchester United, there's not too many positives at the minute. So, unfortunately, we are going to have to just kind of revel in the disappointment of Manchester United, and in the two European finals, we'll be sitting at home with our feet on the chair. That's it. We will have no part to play in the All-English finals. Some people might say it's the wake-up call that this board needs. Maybe it's so, but it is unfortunate and annoying that we are going to be sitting at home whilst all the other teams above us challenge and progress. So, yeah, I don't want to talk about that too much. It's a Friday night after all. It's time for, relaxation and celebration. So, we're going to talk about Manchester United and the potential signing of Daniel James. And welcome to Rashford as well. Thanks for joining, mate, as always. Really appreciate it. So, yeah, for me, Daniel James, 21 years old, obviously playing for Swansea. You guys probably already know that if you've seen the story break. His stats this season, 5 goals and 10 assists in all competitions this season, which, are somewhat impressive numbers for a man of that age, 21 years old. Still a lot of time to progress. But ultimately, I can't tell you too much more than that. I haven't done a full scouting report on him. I can't say, as I said, I scouted him from a really early age. I can't say that, because if I did, I'd be lying. So, yeah, I think ultimately he's one of those signings which, is a 50-50. And we've seen the likes of not Angus Robertson, Andrew Robertson come from the Championship, come into a Premier League side and absolutely boss it. And I think a lot of United fans are hoping for the same thing if Daniel James was to come in to Manchester United. He has shown a lot of potential. His most played position is a winger, mostly off the left wing, which is also a position that we are looking to strengthen. A lot of United fans saying that we do need to bring in a new winger. A lot of people are saying Gareth Bale, and of course Daniel James is Welsh also, but not really at the same calibre at this point in time. But this might tell us something about the potential change in the recruitment strategy at Manchester United. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, has been seen as saying that he wants to bring in kind of more long-term signings in terms of, not buying quick fixes at 29, 30 years old, who you might be able to get a good season or two out of, but ultimately you're going to have to sell on. Maybe this is a change in our recruitment process that we are looking to buy for the future and building for the future, because there's no doubt that this rebuilding project at Manchester United is not going to happen overnight. And I think if you do think it's going to happen overnight, then I think you're kidding yourselves. I think you really are kidding yourself. Manchester United has a long road back to becoming one of the best in the world, and the only way we're going to do that, in my opinion, is if we do plan ahead for the future. We can't just kind of, have immediate gratification with signings. Yes, it's brilliant to bring in the big names for big money, but if you bring in the long-term players, the younger players who you can shape and develop, I think overall you'll get a better. In the end, you'll get a much better result. And obviously, you've seen teams like Ajax, promoting a lot of youth. I mean, their average age of their team is 24 years old, but they got to the semi-final of the Champions League. Arguably, should have got through to the final as well. They've bottled it, and maybe it was due to the inexperience that they did, but they were able to build a team over a decent period of time. If you look at the likes of Jurgen Klopp and Mauricio Pochettino, they built up their team over time. They haven't tried to spend 300 million in one window and change everything. They built their team over time with the resources they have, and they've turned out very, very well. So maybe this change in model is in the right direction, and Daniel James hopefully is one of many signings we make in this window. Of course, this signing is definitely not fully on the cards just yet. It's just rumours at the moment. So it's a positive rumour. I think it has taken a lot of. Well, it's made me feel a lot happier, at least, about the Manchester United situation. At least I don't need to focus on our atrocious league form at the moment. But transfers are always a good way to, distract the fan base from what's really going on in the club. So if the club have done that, then fair play to them. They seem to be very good at the marketing side, not very good at the footballing side, but Daniel James, potentially one for the future, and it's a sign that could happen. So I want to hear what you guys have to say. I've been talking for a bit. It's time for you guys to get your opinions heard on the stream. A lot of you guys have... a lot of you guys have been getting involved in the live chat. As I said, please do continue to do that. This show is about you guys at the end of the day. Ras says, I watched this game, not just to highlight, made sure that every attacking player is running with their feet, and to the point, he's a speed demon. Well, certainly from what I've watched, he does have a lot of speed, and as Manchester United, the foundations of the club is built on fast, counter-attacking wingers. We've seen it with Ronaldo, people like Ryan Giggs. These sort of people are what we're used to seeing at Manchester United. And if you want to talk about the Man United DNA, which I know a lot of United fans, and probably a lot of you guys as well, are getting absolutely sick of that phrase being used by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and people like that, the United DNA. But if you're going to talk about that, the wingers bombing down the wing, bombing on, overlapping runs from the fullback. That is what Man United has been built on. And we need fast wingers. For the past, few seasons, we've had people like Anthony Martial and Alexis Sanchez and Juan Mata, playing on the wing, which they're not exactly famed for their blistering pace. And I think pace as a winger is something that's completely underrated in today's market. And of course, a good cross as well. We've been starved of a player that can cross the ball well for years now. And the likes of Ashley Young and Luke Shaw don't seem to be really cutting it. And we've seen with the likes of Liverpool that if you've got a player on the pitch that can cross a ball with accuracy, with pace, with venom, it can really cause teams problems. So again, I think definitely if If he does have a good cross on him, that's all the better. But I think we need to look at bringing in a winger that can do that role for us. Full fan 148, I just read on the internet Juventus are offsetting asking price 100 million for Dybala. Well, we will get on to Dybala very, very soon. But he's a very, very interesting one. I've made multiple transfer videos on Paulo Dybala in the past, and it seems like his name has come up. And you'll find across this summer transfer window that many of the names that came up in the last season transfer window, and the season before, and the season before, will come up again. It's silly season for the transfer window. It always is silly season, excuse me. So yeah, Brother Gaming joining us. As my mate said, Daniel James is piff. Nice, that's apparently brilliant. Well, I don't know. I can't comment on that. But yeah, if he says so, then fair enough. I mean, it's the first weird comment of the day from Brother Gaming. I'm sure we'll get more throughout the show. But yeah, please do leave a like if you're not already as well. That'd be absolutely brilliant. And get your thoughts in. Anything you guys want to debate, anything you've seen in the news or anything like that, let me know what you guys want to debate, want me to talk about. Of course, we are focusing on the transfer side of things, but anything, it's up to interpretation. It's up to your vote. I'm going to say it. It's up to your vote. It's up to your, what you want to talk about, because this show is about you as well. I will be doing a Cardiff preview, the All Round podcast. Don't you worry about that. I will be doing a Cardiff preview tomorrow night. I just thought, with the news that came out today, I thought I would do a bit of a transfer show for you guys, because I thought it wouldn't be right if news like this came out and I didn't cover it. So I thought I'd like to cover it, give my thoughts and opinions on the story. And yeah, of course, I'll be doing a Cardiff preview, the last preview of the season, and that preview will signify 2 years since I started this channel, which is amazing how time has flown. But of course, time always flies by when you're having an absolute blast. So thank you very much to you guys, of course, for supporting as always. Rasmus says, we lack a hard worker in the team. Daniel James, you think he's playing for Barcelona or Swansea? Well, of course, hard workers is something which, as you say, totally agree, we lack at Manchester United. A lot of the first team players we've got right now have ability, there's no question. Paul Pogba, on his day, can be one of the best midfielders in the world. I don't think there's many people out there that doubt that. But sometimes the lack of energy that he puts in is so frustrating. So frustrating. You think you're playing for Manchester United. There are millions of people across the world that would do anything for that opportunity, that dream their whole lives of even stepping foot on the Old Trafford pitch. And Paul Pogba gets paid 300 grand a week to do that a living. I'm not saying he's the only one by any means. There are multiple players in that team who don't seem to be trying hard enough. And as a Manchester United fan, I'm not sure about you guys, but I would rather a team and 11 players on the pitch that give everything for the shirt, that would die for that badge on the pitch. And even if we win, lose or draw, we lose a few games, I would not mind at all. I'd rather players that really put in the effort in every single week without fail than players that have potential. And I think not just Pogba, I think there's other players I could pick out. Anthony Martial, Alexis Sanchez. People like this need to work harder. They really do need to work harder. Art Vrappy, welcome to the stream. Thanks for joining. Please do leave a like if you're not already. He says, what is your opinion on the signing? I think good, but not a starting player, though, on the bench. Well, this is the thing, of course, £15 million for a championship player. At first, when I did see this signing be announced, I was thinking, yeah, it's a good signing for the future, but realistically, will he get near our starting 11 at the start of next season? Now, that remains to be seen if he does come in, whether Solskjaer would look to bed him into the squad. But I don't see him getting straight into the starting 11. I do see it, as you see it, Art Vrappy, that he will be more of a bench player. And maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it's good to kind of ease him into the squad a bit. But I think a lot of United fans are looking for players that are going to slot straight into that squad and try their hardest for the team. And I'm sure if James came into the squad, he would be absolutely trying his arse off. But is he really the quality that United need in this rebuilding process? Again, I'm not 100% sure. The recruitment in the past 5 years, I've kind of backed, but now I've seen the light. I've seen that the recruitment process is all wrong at Manchester United. So maybe this change of bringing in slightly younger players for the future might be the right thing. So again, I can't really make a judgment on whether it's going to be right or not. So there you go. Welcome Sick Ball, thanks for joining. He says, how do you stream like that with Old Trafford in the back? I am using a green screen at the moment, Sick Ball. Obviously you can search it up on Amazon and things like that. So yeah, go check that out. And then obviously I'm using OBS Studio as well, which allows you to, configure your green screen and set it all up. All the tutorials on that are on YouTube, so I recommend you go check that out before doing it. Brother Gaming says, Porto and Barca, who you trying to kid? We've been to Belgium and Germany. We're going to Madrid. Brilliant. Well, I don't know what to say about that. Fantastic chant. Obviously, Liverpool chant. Hope they get beaten in the final. And I don't know why you're reminding me of that. I said that's banned on this stream. I said we don't talk about any European competition on this stream. We just don't talk about it. It's off the agenda. We don't talk about it. A full fan one says that looks like Sancho will be staying at Dortmund come the summer transfer window. Well, of course, a really, really hot topic for Manchester United. A really hot prospect as well, doing well for England. And obviously a player that has been linked with Manchester United for quite a while, really. Ever since the January transfer window, Jadon Sancho has been subject to an amazing amount of speculation, to say the least. And I think he is a very, very good player for Dortmund. And I don't see why he would leave. Obviously, he was an ex-Man City youngster as well, so I think it'd be very, very difficult to see him in a Manchester United shirt. It could happen. You never know if the deal's on the table, but again, I can't really comment on that. I haven't seen too many rumours surrounding Jadon Sancho. I think he'd be a decent player, but again, would he realistically get into our first team? I'm not too sure. But I could be wrong. Rashford said, no, that does not matter. He's only banned from Italy, and that does not stop Paul from going to Madrid. Of course. Well, Paul Pogba could potentially be on the move as well. And you know what, guys? I want you guys to let me know your thoughts. Would you be devastated if Paul Pogba left the club this summer? Or do you think there is a positive side to Pogba leaving? Of course, the money that he potentially bring into the club, if we were to sell Paul Pogba, I reckon we could probably get around 150, 160 million for him. So the money that potentially Paul Pogba could bring into Manchester United could be astronomical for us. So there's definitely a potential positive side to selling Pogba. Would you see a scenario where Paul Pogba would leave and we'd be able to bring in a few decent players to replace him? Let me know your thoughts. All Round Pog says, no, Rashford banned in the whole of Europe. Official 3-month ban in Europe. None, plus his clients can move. Oh, of course. Mina Raiola, of course, banned for 3 months. So Paul Pogba, it's going to be difficult to see him doing any deals. Of course, Mina Raiola, a lot of high-profile, members of a lot of high-profile people on his books. You get to pick 4. Well, it's an interesting one. It is interesting. 4 different signings. Now, I've been asked this question before, I believe, and I'm going to be honest, I really wouldn't be able to answer you. I really would not be able to answer that question. I can tell you the positions I think we should sign. I think we should sign a centre-back. I think a winger is definitely needed at the club. A potential centre midfielder if Paul Pogba was to leave. I think we definitely need to replace him. And then a right back as well, or another full back. Now, we have got Diogo Dalot, and I'd love to see Dalot, get a start or, start to be moved into the first team squad, because I do think he has shown a lot of potential this season. But with Ashley Young going and also Antonio Valencia going, we do need some depth in the defensive position. Again, I think we do need some depth in that position. I think at least 1 centre-back, if not 2 centre-backs, need to come through the door at United. A winger and potentially a centre midfielder as well. So there are my 4 different positions that I'd like to strengthen at Manchester United. Let me know your thoughts on that, guys, as well. Let me know where you would like to strengthen at Manchester United. Allround Pog says, Luke Shaw, Player of the Year. What are your thoughts? Of course, the Player of the Year awards were yesterday, and that's a very, very good point. I need to give my kind of analysis on that. So, the Player of the Year awards was yesterday. Luke Shaw won the Sir Matt Busby Player of the Year and also won Players Player of the Year. So, congratulations to him for that. And I think Luke Shaw has been very, very good this year. Amongst all of the turmoil that Manchester United have been going through, I think Luke Shaw has been, one of our improved performers, especially from last season. And he's done really well. He's done really well to come back from, the injury that he suffered. And I think all of us United fans can agree that we knew that if Luke Shaw stayed injury-free for a season or two, he could become a very, very good left-back. And he's shown this season that he stepped up to the plate, and I think he's done very, very well. I'm going to be honest, though, I was a bit shocked when I didn't hear Victor Lindelof had won it. I really thought Victor Lindelof was going to win it. I really did. Yeah, I thought Victor Lindelof was going to win it. I thought, even though Luke Shaw and Victor Lindelof probably very, very similar in terms of how they played this season, I think Victor Lindelof, for me, has been one of our most consistent performers, if not our most consistent performer. Personally, I voted for Victor Lindelof on the Man United app, and there's a whole different drama surrounding that. I thought even when it got to January, February, I still thought Victor Lindelof was gonna win it. I thought even early as that, I thought Lindelof had been our standout player. Yes, Paul Pogba Victor Lindelof was very unlucky to miss out, but I think definitely Luke Shaw, deserved it. And, you've got to say fair play to him. Hopefully he can go on and continue his good progress in a Manchester United shirt. Because I think he's got a good future ahead of him. We just have to hope and pray that he stays injury fit, because I think he can be a very, very important part of this rebuilding job that we're going to see at Manchester United over the next 3 or 4 seasons. But Victor Lindelof as well, I want to see in United shirt. Again, very, very young player, very, very composed on the ball. Come on leaps and bounds since he first played for Manchester United about a year ago against Huddersfield. He's come on very, very well since then. So Victor Lindelof, for me, I thought probably deserved Player of the Year. But Luke Shaw, I'm not too disappointed. I think, he's done well this season as well. So again, that's my reaction to that. Let me know who you guys would think or thought should have got Player of the Year in the comments section and the live chat as well. Art says, if I got to pick 5 players to bring in, of course, this is 5 players that Frappy would like to see at Manchester United next season. He would go Umtiti, Cancelo, Neves, Dybala and James, of course, Daniel James. I tell you what, that'd be a hell of a transfer window. That really would be. Cancelo is another player that I've seen heavily linked with Manchester United, of course, for the fullback role, and he was brilliant against us. When he played against us for Juventus, both times he was been absolutely fantastic. Again, quite young as well. So yeah, potentially a really, really good signing. Whether Juventus would want to let him go, I'm not too sure. Dybala as well, as we've talked about a bit earlier in the stream. I don't see that one happening. I really don't see Dybala coming to United. I think he's happy in Juventus. He's winning the title every year. He's, challenging for Champions Leagues. I'm not sure why he'd want to come to United. We're in the Europa League, for God's sake. Also, Ruben Neves, again, one that I've heard about. Ruben Neves, a lot of United fans liking what they see. I, for one, like what I saw when he played against Manchester United. And, of course, throughout this season, I think he's been a brilliant addition to, Wolves' squad. He was doing well in the Championship, and he's continued his form in the Premier League, which is very, very good, and it's kind of rare amongst players in the Championship to come to the Premier League and adapt so quickly. But he's been brilliant for Wolves, and I think he has been the player that's been making them tick, along with João Moutinho in that midfield. So Ruben Neves, definitely one to look for, potentially someone who, on the rebuilding trail, if we are going to change our strategy of recruitment, then maybe Ruben Neves, he's quite young still, could come through the door, so who knows. I won't be taking calls all round podcasts. I do apologise. I am lagging a bit, as you guys can tell, so I do apologise about that. So unfortunately, I won't be able to take any Skype calls because it will just make it lag just even worse. So I'm not going to do that to you guys. I want you guys to have the best viewing experience as possible, so unfortunately I won't be able to take any calls. Rasha says, I don't get why some fans showing a hate towards Shorey. If we are to describe our players' bad form in a book, him and Victor won't be in the first 30 pages. That's a very, very interesting analogy. But yeah, I think Victor Lindelof and Luke Shaw don't deserve the amount of criticism that other players deserve, I'm afraid. And I think they've been, pretty good for us. Shining light in a pretty poor season. Welcome to Derek. Welcome to stream, mate. Thanks for joining. He says, is Daniel James confirmed? He is not confirmed by any means. The rumours are and the reports are coming out of the media today that Man United are close to agreeing terms for that move for Daniel James in the region of 10 to 15 million pounds. But of course, by no means is this deal confirmed. In this stream, I'm just going to give my thoughts on it, you know. I was just going to give my general thoughts, my general opinions on it. Razza says, why would a player leave the Champions League and join the bloody MDL Cup? It's a bad scenario to think about. Yeah, that's exactly. I don't see why Dybala would want to join us, honestly. I don't see why he'd want to substitute playing with Ronaldo to playing with Marcus Rashford and Romelu Lukaku and Jesse Lingard. I mean, I know which one I'd choose. Let's leave it there. So yeah, I think Dybala, very, very difficult to see him coming. I don't see him in a Man United shirt. It just doesn't look right. It just would not look right to see him in a Man United shirt. But you know what? I could be proved wrong. And I think he's a player. No doubt he's a player. But the amount of money we would have to spend on bringing Dybala would be astronomical. So again, would he really be worth it? I'm not sure. Fuel Run Pong says, hey mate, would you like to join me as a guest on my stream later? Well, unfortunately, I'm quite busy with kind of revision and things like that, of course. Because I've been doing this, I haven't really been able to do the amount of revision that I wanted to. So I might need to get on that after this stream. So I really do apologise. I definitely would love to come on your stream at some point. Obviously, you know, it's great to collab with others, and I've got a few other collabs as well lined up in the future. So stay tuned for that. Very, very exciting times as we go, you know, come towards the close of the Premier League season. But, you know, this channel doesn't stop. We continue to upload content even after the season's done. Transfer videos, debates, all that good stuff. So make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, and stay tuned for that as well. Frappy says, Cancelo might, he's not settling at Juve. Well, there you go. I mean, I don't know about the Cancelo situation. He's definitely a signing that I would welcome at Manchester United, but we'll have to see how that one goes. Again, it's something which you never know could happen. I don't see it, but I could be proven wrong. Derek says, I would just play the youth on Sunday. Totally agree. And I will be doing my Cardiff preview tomorrow night, so make sure you tune in for that as well. Going to be a really good preview. It's just going to be a fun preview, really. Nothing to play for, no pressure. And I think the youth will be played. And if the youth isn't played, the Man United fans at Old Trafford will show their dismay. Will show that, I mean, if it's a no-brainer. The likes of Greenwood, Chong, Garner, they have to get on the pitch. The All-Round Punk says he will be doing a transfer video later. Make sure you check his channel out as well. And make sure you do check out that transfer video. That will be going live later as well. But yeah, Daniel James, of course, was on the agenda today. We talked about a lot of transfer rumours. But of course, over the course of the next few months, it's going to be silly season, guys. Buckle up and prepare for silly season. Welcome, Asim. Welcome to the Tactical Show. He says, what are those earphones? Well, mate, I tell you what. Lovely Sony earphones, if you can see that. Sony. Beautiful. I got them in a stocking filler. So there you go. Santa was good to me. Santa came in clutch with these Sony headphones. Honestly, I've got nothing else. Apart from this. But I'm not listening to anything, actually. I don't know why I've got them in. I'm going to be honest. I don't know why I've got them in, but I just had them in. Anyway, I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know why I've got them in. Dramatic effect, maybe. I don't know. But, yeah. There you go. Rashford says, you know, we're talking about top 4 spot can impact our transfer strategy. We already seen one yesterday when De Ligt is being asked Man United interest, and guess who we could potentially bring in and who we can't bring in. There's no doubt about it. But I don't know. I mean, obviously Man United is still a big club, and we were able to, we are a big club, and we were able to attract players. But of course, without having top 4, it's going to be difficult. It really is going to be difficult. Welcome to Devils Daily CV and Mackenzie. Welcome to Mackenzie. He says he's a Swansea fan. Well, welcome. And that's really interesting to hear your point of view. He says, I don't want Daniel James to leave. He will not get game time. And I think that's a good point, of course. Looking at it, I think that's something we have discussed discussed on the stream a bit earlier, that would he realistically get the game time at Manchester United? Yes, he's a young up-and-coming prospect. Whilst I haven't seen too much of him, I'm not going to lie to you and say I've watched all of Swansea's games this season and I've done a full scouting report, because I haven't. I'm going to be blunt with you, I haven't done it. But obviously what I've seen of him is very impressive. YouTube highlights, of course, can be very deceptive. But I think if he was to come into Manchester United, would he realistically get into our first team squad? Would Solskjaer put him straight in there? I'm not too sure. Yes, as a backup option on the bench, as a young player off the bench, it's great to see, but it's going to take a lot of development. And, we have seen players from the Championship come to the Premier League and do well. The major example being Andrew Robertson going to Liverpool from Hull and doing fantastically well, being one of the best fullbacks in the league. So potentially, Daniel James could come to United and be, take the world by storm. But it's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out. But thank you very much for joining, Mackenzie, and giving your opinion on that as a Swansea fan. The Devil's Daily TV says, this is Jack, by the way. This is the channel I'll be doing my transfer video on. Well, yeah, go check him out if you haven't already. Really, really good stuff. I don't know anyone that does graphics or anything like that. I've made all of my own graphics here. I mean, as you can tell, they're pretty standard, basic graphics. So yeah, as you can tell, I've probably done. You can tell I did this myself, and I didn't get a professional in. So that's all I've got to say, really. Vrappi says, what do you think about Ole saying he might sell Martial because of lack of effort in training? Well, obviously all those videos did come out of Martial in the warm-ups and things like that. Not really, giving a toss. And of course, the Man United fans went absolutely mental on social media. And of course, it's really discouraging and really, it's infuriating to see a Manchester United player who is being paid hundreds of thousands a week not try. I don't care if you're not good enough. If you put in the effort, I can put up with it. But if you don't put in the effort, I can't support you. I really can't support you. So again, I think if Martial was to go, in my honest opinion, I think we do need to be ruthless. And if Martial was to leave this summer, I wouldn't be too bothered. I really wouldn't be too bothered. Mackenzie says, I can't imagine Dan in a Man United shirt. He's Welsh and is really enjoying it here in Swansea. And he's also had a big future ahead of him. So, I mean, it's up to him. Well, of course, I mean, obviously being a Welshman himself, being in Swansea, it's very near, his home. And as a young player, I think in some ways it's sometimes better to, hold off the big money move till a bit later in your career. But I think he has got a lot more to do with Swansea. And if he does decide to join Manchester United, then I think, it could be it might be a good move for him. It might not be a good move for him. But, it's hard to tell at this point. It is hard to tell at this point. Of course, I'd be happy to bring him in. I think, in terms of going forward with this seemingly new kind of transfer structure that we're putting in, the transfer plan of bringing in players for future and building a team rather than just bringing in quick fixes. I do like that way. I think that's a much more encouraging way of seeing the transfer window. I think if he does decide to come, as you said, it's up to him. And I'm sure he'll do all right at United. But again, we'll have to wait and see. But maybe he's more suited to the Championship. Who knows? Curry, welcome to the stream, mate. Thanks for joining. He said, who do you think will win the Champions League Europa? Mate, I don't even want to talk about it. I don't even want to talk about who's going to win it. Oh, I don't even want to talk about it. I mean, for me, I think the lesser of two evils is Spurs winning the Champions League and Chelsea winning the Europa League. But I think the opposite's going to happen. I think Liverpool will win the Champions League, and I think Arsenal win the Europa League. And I think we'll be sitting there in 5th place, the only team not in the Champions League next season, and we're going to have to live with it. We're going to have to live with it. Suck the tears up. We're going to have to live with it. Devil Daily TV says, no minor trust. I asked Danny, said he might, and it's been 5 days, and he ain't replying. You could tell. Could you tell him to reply to me? I mean, I could nudge him for you if that's what you want. We'll see what I can do. The Tactical Show says, well, I'm on course to do graphic design, A level in 4 months, so it should come in handy for YouTube. good luck with that, mate. Really good luck with that. It's a very interesting course. I mean, I haven't done it myself, but people who've done it have said it's been really, really interesting. So, of course, good luck with that. And I'm sure you'll smash it. I'm sure you'll smash it. Mackenzie said, do you have info on when he gets signed? If he does sign for Manchester United, I will be doing a transfer video. So definitely you will hear on this channel when he signs. So make sure you do, hit that subscribe button and that notification bell. And I will keep updating you on the transfer stories that concern Manchester United. And if the Daniel James story is one that concerns Manchester United, we will continue to update you on this story. But yeah, I think we've talked a lot about transfers tonight. We've covered a lot of basis. And that is when I am going to end the stream tonight, guys. Thank you so much to everyone who has joined us and has, come and given their opinion. I really do appreciate it. Please do make sure you hit that like button as well. I really do appreciate it. Can we get to 10 likes on this video? Absolutely brilliant if we could. Thank you very much to everyone who's been watching, as I said. Please do subscribe to the channel if you are new as well. We are heading for 630 subscribers as our new target, so please do help us out with that in any way you can. But thank you very much, guys, as always. Really appreciate it. Please do tune in to the Cardiff preview I'll be doing tomorrow night. But before then, thanks for watching. Leave a like, subscribe if you are new, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. See you next time.